Hello, my cat loving friends. We have a treat today. If you know of the Bob and Sheri show, and you should, you will know our guest today, Sheri Lynch. She, with Bob, has been doing the Bob and Sheri show since 1992. It is in 177 countries, 150 ships at sea through American Forces Network. I mean, they're getting some reach, but we're not going to talk to her about her radio show. We're going to talk to her about her cookbook, which of course includes cats and is hysterical. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. Welcome back to 19 Cats and Counting. I am your co-host, Linda Hall, here with my gorgeous BFF, partner in crime, work wife, Rita Reimers.
What do you want? They're calling me gorgeous. What do you want?
We'll talk about that later off air.
Okay.
But yes.
Those of you keeping count, I did lose one of my kitties last week, so I'm down to 15.
15.
Not 19 Cats and Counting anymore, but we're not going to change the name.
I'm just disturbed because she's always had so many more cats than I do. And I have 12 and we're catching up now and I'm not happy about it. But I'm not going to discuss that with you anymore because I want to talk to Sheri.
Do not send me any more cats. Yes, I'm so excited. I have been a big fan of Bob and Sheri, especially Sheri, for many years. I lived in Charlotte twice. So when I moved back here 8 years ago, I was so happy to see Bob and Sheri was still on the air.
Yes. Welcome, Sheri.
Thank you. I am so happy to be among my people.
Yes, you are among your people. Those of you listening to the podcast can't see, but Rita and I even wore our cat ear headphones today because it's Sheri. And so, yeah, you know, there's certain subjects you can't be goofy about, but it's Sheri.
But this is a good one. We can.
Cat ears, girl, cat ears.
Oh, my goodness. So,
Sheri, I've already gotten a text from Rita. She is awaiting a new stove that she has ordered. It'll be here right after Thanksgiving. And I got a
72. It's the first thing I'm going to bake.
78, I thought it was. Kit Kat
72. No, Cherry.
72. I mixed up.
Do you not know me at all?
Espresso cherry brownie.
Oh, hi.
Gosh.
Dexter's here to say hello. Say hi, Dexter.
Hey, kitty. Hey, sweetie. Look at your I love a black cat. I have a black cat too.
Aren't they sweet? They are the sweetest.
In my herd. Yeah.
They will tell you that genetically that coloring has nothing to do with personality, but I disagree. I have 4 of my cats are black and they're all just dumplings. They're just sweet.
Yeah. My black cat knows that she is like so elegant and stylish and badass.
Yeah.
And runs the place. Like she's a beauty. I'm always appalled by the way black cats languish in shelters and people are afraid of them. Like, come on, it's the year 2022. Let that old superstition go.
Yes, right? It dates back way back to like pre-Victorian times. That whole thing. It's like, come on, we've grown and changed and learned. Get over it.
I know, and even the Halloween decorations. I mean, they're cute with the black cats, but it just, you know, that stereotype just stays because of that. Perpetuate. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
Linda and I share one brain. Those of you who know us know that.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to write this cookbook, Sheri?
Well, like all people with more than one cat, you know, I've had a lot of non-cat people tell me over the years, like, girl, I'm sure you're a good cook, but I wouldn't eat anything in your kitchen because you have cats. As though, first of all, as though you're dirty because you have cats. Second, as though the cats are like stirring the soup with their tiny paws.
Wait, yours don't do that?
I wish I could get them to pitch in. And it always cracked me up because on the one hand, I'm like, look, you know, I come from a long line of Sicilian housewives with OCD. Trust me, my house is clean. Second, I do not recall inviting you over to eat my food that I have cooked with my cats. So
that's right.
It's your role.
So
the pandemic hit. Friday the 13th, March, Friday the 13th, 2020, pandemic hits, everyone goes into lockdown. My business partner and I were talking and he was like, maybe you could use the lockdown to write another book. And I was like, are you kidding? I have 2 teenage daughters. I don't have time to write a book. And besides, if I was going to write another book, I would write a cookbook for crazy cat people called Cooking with Cats, because I'm so tired of people telling me that we're not going to eat food from my kitchen. He called me
Yes.
the next day and he said, we have a publisher and a deadline. And you guys,
Wow.
I have written books. I've never written a cookbook. A cookbook is a whole different thing to try
Sure.
to write. But also because we were in the middle of the pandemic, I wanted to do something that kind of fostered community and that could be fun.
Sure.
So I reached out to all of the people who listened to my radio show and said, I'm working on a project. If you have pictures of your cats wilding in the kitchen, your cats could be included in this project. So people began sending their cat pictures. And
I
as you know
love
from
them.
having the book, I mean, there are cats in saucepans, crock pots, cats in mixing bowls, cats trying to
Yes.
open
Look at the black one in
dishwashers.
the, that's so
Yes.
cute.
Yes.
There's a
Right.
beautiful Siamese cat in the refrigerator.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was just gonna say one of my favorites is a cat climbing in the refrigerator. It's absolutely amazing.
so like these are all real people with their real cats in their real kitchens. And I knew a handful of really like big time crazy cat people that were also great cooks and reached out to them and said, hey, do you want to, be a part of this? And so the
Oh.
result was Cooking with Cats, which is, it's a cookbook with people food, except for the very last recipe, which is cat
Yes.
treats.
I
right?
can't wait to make that for my kitties. They're going to be so
Yes.
The recipes are really, really delicious. These are recipes that people, like when I've mentioned cooking something, people have asked for the recipe. And I will tell you that writing this cookbook, I had never cooked by a recipe. I learned from little old Italian ladies to cook by feel. Handful of
Yes.
this, handful of that, sprinkle of this.
Yes.
So I got this big, giant 3-subject notebook and a box of pencils. And it looks like a serial killer wrote a cookbook. Because I would cross something out. Nope. Nope, half a cup. Nope, 3/4 of a cup. Trying to figure out what is a handful, what is a pinch. And some of these things I made 50 times in order to turn the recipe that was in my head into a recipe that you could follow.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Because the
And so-
recipes are one thing, but baking is like a science. You've got to
It's
have things right.
chemistry.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's chemistry.
Yes.
And so there's a couple of things in here, like the recipe for my Grandma Bartholetti's meatballs has been a family secret for generations.
Really?
I had to pry it out of my mom. But those are real Goomba Italian meatballs.
Oh, I'm going to make
Oh.
those.
Yeah, the recipe for Sunday gravy, that's what Italian Americans in the Northeast call what you would call pasta
Yes.
sauce.
Yes.
From
That
New
is
York originally. Yeah.
Goomba. That is real Paisan Sunday gravy. It takes some effort to cook, but your house will smell amazing and you'll eat yourself into a food coma.
Okay, I'm
I
going to
love
make
it.
that.
That's right up my alley.
I grew up in the Italian section of Buffalo, New York, even though we were like the token non-Italian family. But so I know what real sauce is supposed to taste like.
Yeah.
And ragu's not
Yeah.
it.
And well, the secret of it is, first of all, all the long cooking, because a lot of the cuisine that we call Italian food in this
Mhm.
country, Italian American food, is based in poverty, minimal ingredients that you had to make the most out of.
Right.
So it really comes down to, the love that you show the ingredients. And unfortunately for me, because my grandmother is in heaven right now, hanging with her BFF, the Blessed Virgin Mother, the other secret ingredient are cigarette ashes that fall into the pot while they're stirring. And I'm a non-smoker, so what are you going to do?
Ah,
I love
that's hilarious.
Yes, of course. You got to get that extra something in there.
My mom
said-
is a smoker, so I'm sure.
Maybe
I've
she
eaten
can do the
some-
sauce
lot.
then, and she'll help you
a lot
out.
of ashes.
Yes, I'm sure.
Well, she won't eat at my house because, cats, even though she has a house full of dogs. Do you want to tell Sheri about the infamous cookout?
We
I
had a
don't care if
cookout
my
for
parents
4th
hear
of
this.
July. Love you, Mary, and Bill. So yes, we were having a cookout for the 4th of July, and we were out on the deck. Rita was inside, and her parents were, where are we going to eat? Well, she says she's putting a tablecloth on. And I was just biting my tongue.
My
and
mom
my
didn't
lips
eat a
and
thing.
trying not to laugh. No,
Pushed it
she
around
kinda
on her
pushed
plate.
food around.
Took the meat home for her dogs. Yeah.
Are
need a
you
thing.
kidding me?
No.
And we grilled steaks.
I mean, it wasn't even cooked in the house, okay? It was cooked outside on the grill.
I was going to say you were outside.
I know.
On the grill, yes.
I
And
know.
her cats don't go outside.
Oh, that's sending quite a message, isn't
I'm
it?
telling you.
Well,
Yes.
her 8 dogs at the time, she has 5 now, you know, she's got wee pads all over the house, but that's okay.
Yes. But
Sorry,
cat
Mom.
hair. Don't you have a sign in your kitchen that says something about cat hair being an ingredient
it
or something like
does.
that?
I do.
thought so.
And it is.
And it is. Yes. Well,
I actually had someone say to me, who, when the book first released, someone said to me, well, is it legal to cook cats in America?
oh no.
I'm like, I'm cooking with the cats. I'm not cooking the actual cats. Like, a sick mother would write a book.
I'm like, we're not buying that book, Sheri. We're not buying it.
It's not cooking cats. It's cooking with cats.
With cats.
Yeah.
Because they make the most delightful kitchen helpers.
They
Yes,
do.
they do. Well,
Like,
I was
look
gonna
at
say
Rambo here in his little chef's hat.
Oh, look how gorgeous he is.
Tell me that's not a helper. Come on.
exactly. Yes. Well, and that's what I was gonna say. Listen, anybody listening, maybe you're not really doing the cooking thing right now. I know I have slacked in recent years considerably. Curl up on your couch with this book and look at the pictures. You will stay busy for hours and you will be a very happy camper. I've never understood people that read cookbooks before. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But with this book, it really does.
Yes, it does.
There's so many fun pictures, and every story, every recipe has a little story.
Yes.
About the food, about where it came from, about the cook. So,
yes.
I mean, and listen, people give me grief, y'all, about, oh, I'm not eating at your house, you have cats. My radio partner, Bob Lacey, is like, yeah, you have cats. On page 13 of the book is a picture of Bob Lacey. The cat is literally on the table getting ready to lick the butter in the butter dish.
Yes. Oh, so Mary Loves Bob Popovers is the Bob.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Much? I think so.
Right? Exactly.
He just likes to bust your chops. That's all.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Those who live in glass houses, Bob. Really.
And can I also say, because I am amongst my people, I push back on the whole, like, oh, well, you don't want people to think you're a crazy cat lady. Now, why in the world do I give a shit what people think? I am a crazy cat lady.
Amen, girlfriend. Exactly.
Like, when I was little, I told my parents, this was like, I mean, little, like 6. I told my parents that when I grew up, I was going to have a house where I rescued all the unwanted cats and they were going to live with me, and I was going to call it Pussy Haven.
I love it.
I was a teenager before I understood why that was so funny to my dad, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I've always, I mean, I love dogs too. I used to have a pet pig. I'm an animal person, but there's something about the way a cat occupies the space and brings something into your home, a kind of energy and a kind of serenity.
You're right.
That you don't get any other way.
We had a client, and it was a man. So you know, we're not just man bashing. It was a man who said it, who said, dogs are like men. Scratch my butt, I'll love you forever. I'll come when you call. Do you have food? But he said, cats are like women. You're a little more mysterious. We got to figure out what's going on behind the eyes. We got to learn your ways and respect your body language. And he's right.
It's true.
Yeah. And there's something when a cat chooses you.
Yes.
It's like, you're like, oh my God, you chose me. Like, because they are creatures who don't need your praise. They don't need you. They choose you. Oh, look at that little.
He likes to pet me.
Dexter pets her, and it is the funniest thing on the planet to watch him reach out and just kind of pet her hair.
He appeared on my deck one day, so that's why his name is Deckster, Dexter.
Oh, I figured you named him after the serial killer.
No,
no.
Linda named him.
It's her fault. So her Sonny had passed, and she said, "That's it, Linda. I'm not taking in any more cats unless they appear at my doorstep." So then we're having a behavior session with a client, shout out to Lynn. And she was doing it. She wasn't in her office. She was in her kitchen on the laptop, which is very abnormal. And in the middle of the session, she looks over and says, "There's a cat on my deck."
And here we are.
Enter
there
Dexter.
Enter Dexter.
My last in. Now, I just want you to know, while we are crazy cat ladies, neither one of us set out to have this many cats in our lives. We work in rescue. And one of the reasons we do what we do with behavior is we're trying to build a cat sanctuary here in Lancaster, South Carolina, where I am.
Yes.
For those cats that won't get adopted, the elderly cats, the cats that have special needs.
Yeah.
Hopefully part 2 will be a cat cafe so we can have the adopted homes.
Well, we donate a big chunk of the proceeds from cooking to cats. We designate like every 6 months we find a rescue or an organization and we send the funds that way, because especially like we rescued an elderly breeding queen. The cattery was done with her. You know, she was no longer productive. She'd never been a pet. She had never been loved. She had spent her whole life, you know, working. So I was like, she's coming home with me. So we took her home and she lived out the last 5 years of her life like a beloved queen. And one afternoon fell asleep in my lap and passed away in my arms. And it was such a privilege. It was such a privilege to be her first and only and forever family. And she could not have been a more wonderful, glorious pet. And for anyone that thinks like cats are selfish or aloof or dicks, can I tell you, when this elderly queen, when her health began failing, and the vet said, because I was frantic, we'd only had her for like, it felt like a minute. And the vet said, "Sheri, she's just so old and her little body is so spent that there's really nothing we can do but make her life amazing." My other cats I swear to you, it sounds like I'm making it up. They took turns round the clock nurse duty.
I love
her.
I understand.
They know. They know.
They know
what's going on.
Yes. And they're great. I had a cat. She's long since gone, but
Latte, right?
We called her Nurse Latte because she was, if one of my kids got sick, she'd lay on the couch with them and we'd be like, should we be concerned? Has she peed? Has she eaten? Has she moved? She just took care of everybody when they were ill. She was just the best. Oh, she was awesome. Yes, cats know.
They do. And this is a good place for us to take a little break for another one of our PAWSOME sponsors. We'll be right back. And we're back with
me? Hang on, Charles Xavier's crying. Let me get
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, I heard that. I love her.
I do too.
Mark, you got to cut this part out, babe.
Well, he knows.
He knows. Yeah.
But I'll tell him in the middle.
Yeah.
There'll be some stuff.
Yeah.
We could use this for outtakes. He didn't want to come in.
There you go. Yeah. Is he okay? All right, go ahead and do your lead in now.
Okay. And we're back with 19 Cats and Counting and Sheri Lynch. I'm so grateful that you're here on the show. I was telling Linda, I don't get nervous when I do these things. I worked for Richard Simmons, but I was getting nervous waiting for you to come on our show.
Sheri Lynch. Yes. She was
out of here. We're all just you know, people that love cats and are unapologetic about it and don't feel like we need to defend it.
Agree.
Exactly. Yes.
And nothing drives me crazier than when someone goes, "Oh, that's not my cat. That cat belongs to my wife or my girlfriend or my husband or whatever." Oh, stop it. Is your sense of self so fragile? Like what?
Part of the family. Yes. And we see that all the time. We had a client recently and I immediately did an angry social media post. The two cats weren't getting along. And so her vet suggested she rehome one of them. And they were bonded to each other. They would groom each other in between fights. And so we were like, don't you dare. You never, ever have to rehome your cat. That's why they're behaviorists. Reach out to us, right?
What's amazing, though, is how many men clients have we had lately? And even couples where the man has made the appointment. It's amazing. We owned a cats only pet sitting company. I owned it for 17 years. And the ratio of men clients to women was really getting to be about even.
As
Yes.
it should be. I mean, should not be a subject that's in any way divided by gender. And let me just say, I have 2 daughters that would fight and then groom each other. Was I supposed to rehome one?
That is
Right?
exactly what I said. Exactly. My daughter had to come back home in 2020 and with her 4 cats, and it was an ugly integration, but we were working on it. And she sat down and she said, Mom, do you want me to rehome at least Deadpool? He's the brat of the bunch.
He is.
And I said, yes, darling, right after I rehome you and your brothers, you know, like I'll get right on that. I tried.
I'm not going to lie. I have rehomed a husband. I have done that.
Right. Yes, I did
and I
that
think it
once.
was in everyone's best interest. He wasn't a biter. It just wasn't a good fit for our family,
Sure.
you know, but a pet,
I know.
I mean,
Exactly, because the husband
figure it out.
understands what's going on and can go out and make his life. Your cat does not. You know, we tell people when they have cats with separation anxiety, you walk out the door, you cease to exist. Your cat does not know that you are going to work or to be with your friend or whatever. You
Yeah.
just stopped existing. That's
Well,
a pretty heavy.
It's just like when a toddler watches mom walk out the door. It's the same thing. They don't know she's
Yeah.
coming
drop
back.
off the planet.
Object impermanence. I think that's
Yes, yes, exactly.
Well, I'm glad while we're on this subject, I think it's important to talk too about how cats are social. Like people say, oh, dogs are social. You should have more than one dog. Don't leave your dog home alone all day. Well, what about your cat? Like I have 4 cats. We're down to 4 cats and 1 dog because we just had a loss too. And
Oh, I'm
it's just
sorry.
it's just part of life and loving
know.
them. And
It is.
you know, it's from the very first minute, you know the deal, right?
Yeah.
You know the
Yes.
bargain that you're
Yes.
striking.
Yes.
But we're down to the 4 cats and the 1 dog. These 5 animals, they are a pack and a family. Now the dog doesn't know he's a dog. You guys, I find him in the litter box peeing.
Linda's dog does that.
I have that dog. I have a Chihuahua who will stand in the litter box. I tried to pay her to poop in there because I live in Ohio and it snows.
Yeah.
She didn't take, but she stood there like, I don't know why I'm here, but my friends do it. So I'm just going to stand here.
Do you want to say
I can't get my dog to go boom booms in the
It's
litter box.
Bella.
Yes. Oh, look at you. You're so
yes, there's her
Bella.
Bella. Yes.
On, baby.
Does the dog pee in the box?
Mm-hmm.
Will your dog talk to my dog?
It's the well, my dog, I actually consulted a pet psychic about my dog.
Did you really?
I did because see, he belonged to my in-laws, and when they passed away, he had no home. And I said to my husband, absolutely not. We're taking him.
Sure.
And he's like, he'll never get along with the cats. And I said, he will. It'll just take time. Now he thinks he's a cat. Anywho,
Love it.
He was so difficult. He's just a little guy, but he was so insane and unreasonable. I tried everything. Talked to the vet, read the books, went on the websites. Finally, in sheer desperation, I reached out to a pet psychic. Everyone makes fun of me for this, but the pet psychic said to me, his head is filled with buzzing. He's on the extreme end of a spectrum. He doesn't know the difference between inside and outside. He will never be trained. So I slapped a diaper on him and we have all lived happily ever after. So the pet psychic saved all of our sanity.
Yes.
You do what you got to do, you guys.
You reach out to whoever you got to reach out to. Exactly. Yes.
It's very true.
My dog approached each cat one at a time and said, will you play with me? And they slapped him upside the head. And he went to the next cat and said, will you play with me? So there's one cat that will play with him. And it's hysterical because the cat is way bigger than the dog. And the dog will roll around with the cat and go, her, 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 like she's vicious. And I just sit there and laugh like, honey, she could eat you for lunch. She's just being nice to you. So yes.
True.
I love when you see those. I mean, you know, I read one time that children who grow up in difficult and chaotic homes, which I did, bond to animals in a way that's different from children who grow up in healthy homes. And my relationship with animals, including my pets, has always been more based in like a cartoon than in any kind of reality. Like they're like stuffed animals come to life for me. Yeah. So when I see the cats and the dogs kind of bopping around and playing together or sleeping together on a chair.
I love that.
to me, that's how life is supposed to be.
Yes,
If only they
100%.
would stand up and sing and dance, like they do in
Yes.
the movies. But
It's a musical.
yeah,
I love dog cat friendships. We've got a
Yes.
client coming up. She sent some pictures today, and there's one picture of her big old dog curled up with one of the kitties. It's just the cutest thing in the world. I love that.
Well, my favorite, we were in a session and we do our sessions via Zoom, which is amazing because we can get all over. We just spoke to someone from Lebanon earlier today.
I know. It's amazing.
We're all over the place. And we get to see the behaviors. If we were in your house, your cat would hide and would not do the typical
Yes.
behaviors, right? So we're talking and the lady's walking us upstairs, showing us around and where the litter boxes are and where this cat's been peeing. And the two cats, she says, uh-oh, it's starting. And the two cats start to face off and they stare at each other with the predator stare, and the hissing starts and the growling starts. And they've got a large dog that walks in between the two cats and plants himself. Like,
he's the
I am
peacemaker.
the wall.
The peacemaker.
We were laughing our butts off. The dog's like, not on my watch, sister. I'm gonna stand here right in between you and block you. So yes, it was a riot. Yes.
When you think about what we're learning, as they're doing these fMRI, these functional MRI studies on the brains of dogs and cats, we are learning that their interior lives, their degree of sentience and communication, so much richer than we ever could have guessed.
Yes, 100%.
I speak to my cats in full sentences and they seem to understand every word. Are your cats like that, Sheri?
Yes, and my husband makes endless fun of me because I don't baby talk them. I'll say things like, Tiberius, I do not know why you just did what you did, but it's disappointing and I need you to sit here and think about what you've done. And he and my kitty best friend, when I say to him, you're my kitty best friend, he just goes nuts and climbs all over me. So I know they know.
See, they know.
Yes.
They know what they're saying.
My daughter has a very cranky, very old cat. She's had him for 13 years. So I think he's about 16 now, Tiger. And he is grumpy and he is vocal. He walks around. It's hysterical.
It's hilarious.
And he came in one day and poked his head in my room and I was working. And I said, what do you need? And I said, don't talk to me that way. I said, go tell your mother what you're doing. And he walked upstairs and went into Nikki's room. And I about peed my pants. I was like, this cat has full command of the English language. I am convinced. Yeah.
Well, didn't I read somewhere that cats really don't meow at each other? They use that to communicate
that is
with
true.
us.
Mm-hmm. Correct. If you
After
find
kittenhood, they don't meow at each other, right?
Yes. If you meet a feral cat, a cat that, after his mom was living outside and not with people, they won't meow. They lose the ability. They use it for communication with mom. So when they turn it on us, that makes us pet parents, right?
But think about what that means. An animal that only vocalizes to you, there is a level of intelligence and emotion. Like, it's just fascinating. I mean, to live, it's a wild thing, and especially with 15, when you share your home with other little beings, that's freaking amazing.
And they're all different. I used to work Petco adoption events, right? And we had both dogs and cats there. And somebody came up to me and said, well, what do you do with a cat? So you take it home and love it, just like you would a dog. This person just couldn't fathom that.
What do you do with it?
I know. I don't understand people like that.
I'll tell you, talking about the communication and what you were saying, Sheri, about them being so smart. Have you ever seen Billy Speaks? Billi?
No.
Sweetie,
you'd love this.
Sweetie, you're about to die. You're going to thank me for this. Billy Speaks, Billi. She's on YouTube and all the social media stuff. So she has purchased buttons. And
you have them too, Linda.
I purchased them. Yes. She has purchased buttons that you can record things. And this cat now probably has 50 buttons. And the cat will go over, her name is Billy, and she will push tummy, ouch. Oh, your stomach hurts? One day she was getting ready for work and she stopped and sat down and was having a drink of coffee. And Billy looks at her and goes over and pushes, Mom, work now?
Oh my God.
It's insane.
I've seen Bunny the famous dog that uses the
Yes.
system to
Yes.
communicate. But I've got to do a deep dive on
Honey,
Billy.
you're going to die. I'm telling you, I am fascinated. That cat will ask for food, specific kind of food. She uses those little mice that you put a couple pieces of food in and hide them. And he'll say, food, mousy. He'll push them. He'll hit play, and she'll say, what do you want to play? And he'll think about it for a while, and then he'll hit fan toy, or, he's got a selection. It's insane. And it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are 100% as smart as we are, if not smarter.
The only problem is, didn't she tell him he was going to have to do something later, and he kept pushing now?
Yes, now, or food, later, Billy, food. So I told Rita I was planning on training the cats, but I'm not sure. My human children are now getting out of the house. My youngest is a senior in high school. I'm not sure I want cats nagging me 24/7 for what they want.
I know.
Mom.
That's one of the things we do is how people can sleep through the night and sleep in. We tell them how to do this. So if you get those buttons, you'd never be able to do that.
Food now, Mom. Food now, Mom. I'm not sure I want to sign up for this. I don't know. I bought the buttons. We'll see what I end up doing. I don't know. But yes, that cat will tell her when he's hurting, when he's mad. She was singing in the kitchen one day, and he kept hitting mad. She's like, apparently Billy doesn't like my voice. I don't need another critic in the house.
Oh, that's just too much.
It's so wonderful to have these little mysterious beings pacing around the house with their full, rich internal lives and their relationships and their preferences. And we're just so clueless about all of it. I can't even imagine. I have never ever lived without a pet. I can't.
Yeah.
When I know people that come home to an empty house.
I know. I couldn't do it. I always told my mom when I was a kid that I was a cat. I made her dress me up for Halloween as a cat. I couldn't have one because my dad was allergic, but when we bought the house, I was 10 years old. We got a dog. I was just so happy we finally have, a dog or cat in the house. And I couldn't live without one. When I got married, way back in the Stone Ages, I told my husband, first thing we had to do was get a cat. And we did.
That's what my daughter did when she was 19. She was moving out into her first apartment, and she said, I need a cat. So, okay, off to the shelter we went, got her a cat. So yes, that would be Tiger, who's still kicking and being grousy.
My daughter Olivia just rescued a really handsome boy from the shelter, but she's having a lot of challenges with him. She grew up with our cats, and they're, like I said, they're stuffed animals come to life. But the cat that she rescued he has very strong predator instincts. He's a hunter.
Oh, yeah.
And she's what he's hunting. And I'll be talking to her on the phone, and she'll suddenly let out a piercing shriek because he's come around the corner, launched himself at her ankles.
Oh,
I mean, and she's trying everything, catnip, wand toys, like, every possible thing. And we're just hoping that he's very young. We're just hoping that, with time and consistency, he chills the hell out, because she literally, she's living an episode of Wild Kingdom. Yes. He's the lion and she's the gazelle, and it's nuts. It really is.
Yeah.
We can help her with that.
I was just gonna say, we'll send you a few hints, and if it's not enough, tell her to book a session with us.
Okay.
We got that. We've handled that before. We just had a client earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. They all become a blur. That was like, I'm scared of my cat, and I love my cat. I don't want to live in fear of my cat. I love my cat, but I'm scared to death of my cat because he will attack. So yes.
A lot of time, if they've been separated from their moms or their little mates too young, they don't learn how to cat. And so they use those hunting instincts inappropriately because they haven't learned how to do it the right way.
Yes.
And what hurts and what doesn't hurt.
Yes. And if they're high anxiety, then a lot of times it bursts out onto you, right? Redirected aggression.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
Is there any such thing as, a truly difficult or antisocial cat? Or does it all really come down to the relationship between the person and the cat and kind of figuring out how to read each other's signals and vibe?
Well,
And
ferals are truly aloof and don't want anything to do with us at all.
yes,
Other than
that's
aside
true.
from that, it all depends on how they're handled and how they're nurtured and at what age they've started to be handled. If they're not handled
Yes.
before 12 weeks, chances are you're going to get a timid, scared cat or an attack cat.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say, Linda?
They're, one of the things that we really try to push with people, if you look at dog genetics, if you look at the genetics of dogs before they were domesticated to now, their DNA is wildly crazy different. Their genes are way different. If you look at cats pre-domestication and now, not so much
Pretty
different.
much the same.
They're still the wild animals, One of Rita's favorite books is called The Lion in the Living Room.
I
and
love
it's
that
all
book.
about, how, yes, we have truly wild animals living with us. And we find that anxiety, just like in people, there are people who roll across every bump unfazed and say, it's okay. I have faith. God's got it. And then, that's not Rita. That's not really me either. And then there are people that have what we could think of as a normal anxiety range. And then there's people who make mountains out of molehills and go, and it's the same thing we find in cats. And they've still got the prey instinct. They've still, they still got all those instincts. So most often we see it's just a result of anxiety, and we've got to get the anxiety down. And there are a lot of things we can do with that.
Get the anxiety down, get them into a routine, because cats love routine. They want to know what's coming.
Yes.
Yeah. I can tell you that pre-COVID, my kids were always away at school or at dance or at a part-time job. I was away at work. My husband was out, and the cats, it was like, they owned the house and we occasionally popped in, right?
True.
Then COVID came and we were all always here. And at first they were kind of like, what the
Yeah.
Why are you in my home right now?
But then a funny thing happened. Then they became like, well, turns out we kind of like this. There's a lap for everybody.
Yes.
4 adults in this house, and there's 4 of us. Somebody can put us in their lap.
Yes.
So now they follow us around from room to room.
Mm-hmm.
The COVID changed, the whole COVID lockdown changed their routines, habits, and behavior. It was really fascinating to watch.
It really is.
It's true. And then when some of the people have to go back to an office job, a lot of time we see separation anxiety in the cats.
Yes, we got a lot of email when everybody had to stay home. And then we got a lot of email when everybody went back to work. Now my cat's freaking out. Yes. They like routine. I always tell our clients, if you were to put a live cam on a feral colony, you would get really bored. It wouldn't last long, because they do the exact same thing in the exact same way, in the same place, at the same time, every day of their lives.
Please, the greatest nightmare in the world for us is daylight savings time.
Oh, yeah.
Because they can't tell time, but to their little bodies and brains, it's time for breakfast.
Exactly.
For dinner. And
exactly.
They're very much creatures of
it doesn't matter that it's an hour earlier now, right?
Exactly. Yes. We used to feed the cats at 9:30 at night. They got their last wet meal. And about 9:15, they'd start gathering in the kitchen. And it's quite alarming to see 12 cats in your kitchen staring at you. It's not a lot.
Yeah, we cure our cats,
like the birds.
We cure our cats a different way now. We don't do it by time. And if people listening want to know, visit our website, catbehavioralliance.com.
Yes. We fixed that. We fixed those little red wagons.
We did. I hate that we're running out of time. I mean, I could just sit and talk forever about cats, can't you?
Me too.
Oh my God, yes. And it's so nice to sit and talk about cats with other people and not the mirror, because everyone in my life is so tired of it.
Or the cats, right? Yes.
That's why we started a clubhouse, a membership clubhouse on our website, so people can go in, and know they're not going to be made fun of by talking about their cats and these secret things we do that we don't tell anybody who doesn't have cats, because they don't get it.
We get a lot of multi-cat people reaching out to us because they know, they got 12 and 15 cats. They can go judge. No.
Listen, they are these cats, they're my little friends. Like after a long day or whatever, and I curl up on the couch and they all come and climb into your lap. And plus, when you have a cat, you're never drinking alone. That's how I look at it. There I am. I got a glass of wine, a lap full of cats. Life could be worse.
Yes,
Truly.
they make cat wine, just so you can feel like your cat is drinking with you.
I have seen that.
So you never have to drink alone. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh my gosh, Sheri, you should be on our friend's show. Isabel, covered in pet hair.
Oh, yeah.
She calls her show a boozy show, and you have to bring a drink with you.
Yes.
Oh, well, that would be handy because I usually have one anyway.
Right? And she has a drinking game that, the audience, every time they hear this word, they should be, they can hit it back. It's hysterical. Yes.
I love
it. Yes.
Well, I hate to wrap this up. I really do.
Where does everyone need to go because they need this cookbook, even if they don't cook?
Cats. It is on Amazon, but I have to tell you that the markup on Amazon is crazy.
I know. I ordered it there by mistake.
Right.
Yeah.
We are able to sell it for a lot less because we don't have to. Jeff, listen, y'all, can we all just agree? Poor Jeff Bezos. I mean, the guy needs the money. Okay.
All
right.
Baby's I know. Where's the next meal coming from? We don't know.
And his girlfriend, Lauren, that spray tan ain't free. Okay. So
that
we all need to help Jeff Bezos. Can you give $1 a day to help a billionaire keep going? But the Amazon markup, I think, is pretty steep, even though Amazon is where everybody goes for everything.
Yeah. I think I make $2 a book when I sell one of mine. That's it.
Yeah. And we take any profits we make off this, we donate back to rescue organizations. So it's not like anybody's getting rich on cooking with cats. If you go to our website, bobandsheri.com, BOBANDSHERI.com, we're able to sell it to you. We don't sell it at cost because we are raising money.
Sure.
Right.
So we've marked it up like I think $1.50 off of our cost, just so that we can give some money at the end of the year to our organization.
$7
it's way
less.
cheaper at bobandsheri.com.
Yes, I know. I ordered mine from Amazon and then went on the Bob and Sheri website and went, doggone it.
I think it's like $7 less on your website than Amazon has it. Mm-hmm.
It's
and the markup on Amazon, that extra $7 does not go to help anybody but Amazon.
I wouldn't mind if it was going to the cats, but it's not.
Right, exactly. Yes.
But we live in a world now where people are like, well, can I get it on Amazon? Can I get it? So we resist it for a long time. We only just put it on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's where everybody goes. I know.
It's just easy for everyone to remember. People are basically lazy, so they don't want to have to hunt for anything.
But we can save you some money, and the profits go to the kitty cats, and
which is
let's
amazing.
do that at bobandsheri.com. And thank you guys so much, because it's a real cookbook, but it's silly. It's a silly, goofy little thing. If you have a cat lover in your life, it would be a fun Christmas present or Hanukkah or whatever.
Yes,
it's not going to change the world or save the world, but it throws a little bit of money at rescue organizations that help cats. And if you've never had a real freaking Goomba meatball, you will after you
I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
My new oven comes December 1st, and I can't wait to break it in with one of these.
I know, page 72.
It's 72.
Rita, the espresso brownies, be very careful about eating them at night.
Why? They'll keep you awake because of the espresso.
Yeah. When I was testing the recipe, I gave a batch to one of my neighbors, and he called me later and he said, I think I'm having a heart attack.
Oh no.
I said, how many did you eat? He goes, 6. I was like, oh my God, you are having a heart attack. What caffeine is in there? Oh my God.
Thanks, I'll bear that in mind.
Too much caffeine, too much caffeine. I'm telling you, even if you don't cook, even if you are never going to make one of these recipes, which you should make the recipes, but it is entertaining. The pictures are great. I seriously would curl up on the couch with a blanket and read through it, which I've never said about a cookbook before. So I've
Put a
never
cat in your lap
understood that.
While you're reading it, have a cat sitting in your lap.
Exactly.
Show them the pictures.
And we can discuss it together. That's how I work. Yeah.
Well, thanks you guys for having me on 19 Cats and Counting. This has been so much fun.
Thank you for being the best guest we've had in a long time. Nothing against the other guests, but they haven't written a great cookbook like you did.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Thank you, Sheri Lynch.
We're going to have to add this to the gift list.
Bobandsheri.com. Linda, as always, my ride or die BFF, my work wife.
And you got it.
We have to thank Mark Winter for giving us this awesome spot on Pet Life Radio. We so appreciate it. And don't forget, every day is Catter Day. We'll see you next time.
Yes.